Hi, everyone. Welcome to Altitude Accelerator. This is Tech Uncensored, and this is actually our premiere show. My name is Hessie Jones, and we are at the Metaverse and 5G conference in Toronto. Today, we'll be speaking to a few innovators who are working in this burgeoning field within the Web3 umbrella. And I'd like to introduce our first guest. His name is Lorne Sugarman.
Nice to meet you.
And he is the CEO of the Metaverse Group. So these are going to be fairly short interviews, but I wanted to give you a taste of the kind of talent that we're talking to here at the conference. So, Lorne, you consider yourself a Web3 company.
Correct.
Okay, so would you say you're one of the enablers of this sector?
So we believe we are an enabler. We've done many activations across multiple metaverses, and more specifically, giving you a couple quick examples. We recently did the Forever 21 store in Decentraland during Metaverse Fashion Week, which we're going to announce our new Fashion Week in a couple weeks. That will be next year. But we held that. We had very great success with that. On average, people spent 27 plus minutes in the store. And we had over 3,000 people in the store and 74 million media impressions for Forever 21 around doing that. Another very innovative thing that we've done recently was with Miami Fashion Week. They were the first fashion week to actually integrate the physical and digital world. So while they were doing the physical show in Miami, they live streamed their video content into their store that we built and called L'Atelier in downtown Decentraland, or in the fashion district in Decentraland at least, and ran runway shows and a bunch of other content. And I guess last but not least, the most recent one we've done that would be interesting, or what we think is enabling and innovative, is the UPS store. So we enabled UPS Store, Fast Company, and Inc. And what it is for SMEs, for small, medium, and enterprise businesses, to learn about Metaverse and NFTs and the digital world. And so we've provided content inside the store, 4 levels of the store, where they can actually read and understand about Metaverse and educate themselves about it.
Okay, that's really cool. Like you mentioned Decentraland, and so your company is very much, I guess, embedded within the real estate world in the metaverse. So Decentraland has been in the news lately, as you know. So for our audience, it's surfaced that the $1 billion valuation company only had 500 active users, which I guess in the VC world today, it's like, what's going on? Usually traction is usually a condition of investment. So while there's been some dispute by the company about this incident, it also marks a moment where traditional VCs may be less enamored about investing in the metaverse. How do you respond to that?
So I'm a big believer that we are definitely here early days. We've seen some of this early days. I was a banker in the 1990s during the dot-com era, and there were many people that said to me in those days, just like they say to me today, "You're crazy. Like, this is like, it's never going to happen." Well, I think we all know the internet has happened and is integral to our life, and we couldn't live with it every day. And so when I look at Decentraland, one, the facts were unfortunately incorrect in that article. And there are Decentraland posted it. Sam Hamilton, who's the producer there, posted tweet, excuse my inability to speak, with the real data around it, and talked about 50,000 average daily users, a whole bunch of host of other transactions. They didn't look at all the smart contracts, all that type of good stuff, and I'm not going to go through the data. People can look it up. But I think what I come back to is what Decentraland is creating is a unique economy, a decentralized economy that doesn't exist in the world today. And so for VCs to look at it and for others to look at it, you have to realize, and we've seen many tech companies over the years, that they didn't, I remember the olden days, well, they only had users, they didn't have revenue, or they didn't have this, or they didn't have that. And this is just one of the many examples. We are early, but what they've done, no one else has ever created. It's pretty special, and it's pretty unique. And I think as more adoption happens, as more unique content happens, some of the stuff that we talked about, you're going to drive further and further adoption and further use cases, and that valuation is going to make a lot of sense and look at some point in the future to be hopefully very cheap. So I think these are the types of things we're seeing today, and we have to realize that there's an evolution happening here.
Okay, so well, we know that early day NFTs, rug pulls, cryptocurrency, all these schemes are causing this crypto winter. So some would argue that metaverse winter is also here. So it's really favored, I guess, a lot of the early adopters who have actually profited from these schemes. So, what's your view on the viability of this type of model, and is it sustainable?
So first of all, just from a metaverse perspective, we obviously own land in 12 plus metaverses today, over 850 parcels. We've never sold a parcel and have no intention of selling parcels. So we're here to do this, to build a business long term and to work with brands and corporations in building out their Web3 strategies and enabling them through the technology that we have. Having said that, 100% some of the early projects were just PFP projects. They didn't have a ton of utility and prices dropped, and unfortunately investors got burned with that. I think where you're seeing the evolution, and I think where people need to get their mindset around, is there's so much more to do with this stuff. And specifically, you go to NFTs, look at what Starbucks announced recently with respect to their loyalty program. I think you're going to see evolution in how we use these NFTs. NFTs are going to be exceptionally valuable. You can use them to authenticate things. You can use them, for you have a Apple iPhone. You want to make sure it's an authentic Apple phone. You can tag them with NFTs in the physical and digital world. And so there's so many different utilization cases, whether it's around utility, whether it's around supply chain management, that we've just begun again. And we're going to evolve from just PFP projects to many more other projects in many different verticals, including, for brands. One of my favorite things, I always pick on the Expedia Travelocity example, is those hotel brands, those airlines have lost their customers to Expedia and Travelocity. They own the customers. This is a way for those types of brands to take the customers back with unique NFT projects. And you're seeing some of the hotel chains looking at NFTs and other things to enhance their community. And that is just going to continue. And we're just at the beginning of that.
So, like from your perspective, we will evolve from the Bored Ape scenario.
so Bored Ape touches on a very something near and dear to my heart, and I'll use this example. I spoke at a Harvard blockchain conference about 6 months ago, 9 months ago, I can't remember the dates. And sitting in front of the room were a ton of people with Bored Ape merch on their t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff like that. And the reason I bring that up, obviously we're dealing with a highly educated group of people. And what was so unique to me about that is Bored Apes has created a community and a following. So yes, it was just an initial PFP project, but it has created such excitement around it. You have celebrities, you have now the other side metaverse. They're going to enable those NFTs and their coin inside that metaverse. And so they're really weaving together a storyboard, and in a reverse way to what we see brands come about every day. We don't question it that way, that all of a sudden this is my favorite new t-shirt. It's the reverse of it. They created it through a PFP project. Now they're creating the community, the loyalty, the merch, other games, other things. And so I actually think it's quite a unique project and brilliant in the way it's been done.
Okay. That sounds really exciting. So one last thing, do you see a time frame when you think this is going to materialize within the mainstream?
So I believe it's materializing today. I believe there are different things that need to happen to make it easier and more friendly for everyone, so that, my 90-year-old dad will actually embrace NFTs and crypto and all that type of stuff. But what I would say is that, we need to stop talking about NFTs. We need to talk about digital collectibles. We need to start talking about wallets, and we need to make it easy so that people can access it using their phones like any other app. And so as that type of stuff happens, as AR and VR gets better, as all these use cases and technologies come into the marketplace, then we'll see more and more people gravitating it. Some of that's starting today, and some of it obviously on the hardware side is just going to take longer to get there. And maybe it's 2, 3, 4 years, but we're at the early days, and it's going to happen much quicker than we expect with this type of stuff.
That's great. Well, thank you. And thank you for coming. So we will be right back with our next guest.
Thank you.